Hello everybody, this is the Rabid Hedgehog and I am here at Oklahoma Honda and Suzuki for the Suzuki Demo Days. And I'd like to thank the Oklahoma Highway Patrol for coming out, as they are our lead and chased riders today. So they want to have some fun too. Oklahoma Honda Suzuki is located at 3400 South Sunny Lane, Oklahoma City, or Del City I should say. Right now I'm riding the 2015 Suzuki GSXS S750, their new standard bike based on the last generation GSXR 750 engine. I have to say, I am actually impressed with it right now because it is a very smooth bike so far. Transmission is quick, I do like that. And going over the dashboard in front of me here, we have digital speedometer, analog tachometer, digital gear indication, fuel gauge, and engine temperature on there. Also, you got your standard light affair. You have your neutral light, your bright lights, and your turn signal lights, and also a couple of adjustments there for your display. So, very actually clean display. I do like the way it looks. So far, my impression of the bike is it's a very comfortable bike. For a standard bike, I know it leans a little bit forward, and I'm not usually too happy about that, but it's not too much or too aggressive to the point where I do like what it's doing. It's not a very tall bike, so I'm actually able to flat foot it, and I have a 32-inch inseam, and I still have knees bent, so I'm assuming that the seat height is about 29, 30 inches or so. I'd have to look that up and put that in the comments for you guys. Throttle response from just taking off is really good. The clutch grabs fairly decently. And so far, no qualms there. Definitely a very smooth engine, just like you would expect from Suzuki. I do like Suzukis in terms of how they ride. They usually ride very well. The suspension on this thing is not rock hard at all. You know, I haven't been too far yet, but I'm kind of intentionally going through the bumps, as you can see. And to be honest, it rides really decent on that. Engine braking is just like a parallel twin would be. It just kind of, it's there, but it's not strong. Not as strong as I usually typically like. But overall, I do like the fit and finish of the bike. I love the color. It's the typical Suzuki blue and white and red. Here we go. Everything is put together really well. It's something you'd expect from Suzuki, and I've ridden Suzukis in the past, just never had a chance to film it, and I'm glad I get to this time because it's one of those things where I don't get a chance to really get out on these things, and Suzuki is one of the better bikes out there, I mean, in my opinion, and this bike just proves it. It's very well put together. Like I said, it's based on a last generation GSXR, but they made it into a naked standard bike, and I mean, it rides extremely comfortable. I actually rode a couple of Yamahas a couple of weeks back, and I never posted the videos because it was mostly just a tyrant of negativity, and they were not Yamaha sport bikes, because I actually rode a couple of those, but I was having so much camera problem that day that I just gave up. So with these, I mean, these are just wonderful. This bike is very well put together. From what I could tell, the chassis is nimble. I'll just have to wait until I get into some decent turns. Hopefully they'll take us on the highway and we can get some turns in. Mirrors are actually very well thought out, and they are very good to look back. They can see quite a ways back, so we're good there on the visibility from the mirrors. Seating position, like I said, is more of a standard type. You do lean a little bit onto your wrist, but not too much at all. It's not enough to be a bother. Wind holds you up quite nicely because there's no full fairing in front of you or anything like that. So that's actually good right there. Alright, let's see how this thing turns in here. I'll dive it in. It's a little wet, so I'll try not to be too aggressive here. Dives in nicely. So this chassis is very nimble. Come to expect that from a GS chassis. Sound is really quiet. I'm actually surprised how quiet this bike is. I can hear the guys in front of me on the GSXR 600s and 750 and 1000 a lot better than I can hear myself. Let's see, trying to hold line with them, but they're going a little bit faster. So, but overall, I mean, this is a fantastic bike. I would recommend this bike if you're into the standard riding. It does have a 2-up position on it, so if you do have a passenger, they can sit up. It'd be more of a traditional sport bike style seat because it is actually up a little bit in the air and pointed, but it can still handle the passenger. So that's good there. I'm going to be trying to test the brakes a little bit more this time to tell you how good they are. Double disc in the front, I believe. I'd have to look back down. Let's see. Actually, single disc. So let's see how they handle here. I don't think this bike has ABS. I'd have to look that up for you guys. Brakes grab good. Very good, actually. Very smooth. That engine braking is just a little weak. Let me check those brakes again. Let's see, there's one. Oh, it is a double, huh? I don't see the extra reserve. That's why I thought it was a single there for a second. So it is double disc on the front. The bike accelerates very smoothly. Goes through the gears just excellent. I mean, it's precision. This is one of those bikes that, I mean, Suzuki has been making great sport bikes, great middleweight bikes for a long time. And this bike is just showing that precision that they have in this engine and this transmission combination. Like I said, last generation Gixxer engines, and the frame around it's newer. It is new for 2015. But it's still more based on that middleweight sport bike, just without the fairings and a couple other things. So, you know, it does handle very well. And just transitions beautiful. I mean, this is a very tight frame. I mean, I don't feel any ricketiness. I don't feel any vibration in the handlebar. I mean, this is a very stunningly smooth bike. I'm really appreciating that right now. I mean, you'd think that for a bike like this, the suspension would be tough, but no, it's very wonderful. I mean, I hit these bumps and I don't really feel them. It doesn't translate into the bike that much at all. It actually does very well. Alrighty. I mean, this bike is just fantastic. I can't say enough about it. This is one I'll recommend for sure. I know that I generally recommend a lot of bikes. I don't recommend Yamaha. Their cruisers to me were just afterthoughts. I mean, it was a sad reality when I rode those cruisers. I rode a 1300 Deluxe and also a Bolt. And I have to be honest, I was not happy the whole time I rode either one of them. I rolled both it was a Bolt C, so it was more the cafe racer style. I wasn't appreciative of that. So I think he's just letting us test the lane change here. But I wasn't appreciative of the way that the Bolt felt at all. I mean, compared to a Harley, compared to the Triumph, compared to a lot of other bikes I've ridden, it just really seemed like an afterthought. I mean, there was zip ties visible that were holding things together. I mean, that weren't tucked away or anything like that, like on Harley or Triumph. I mean, it was just one of those moments where you're looking at this bike going, I mean, did you put it together right? Is this how the factory wants it? And then you find out they all look like that and go, well, yeah, apparently so. Which is sad to think about because that should not be the case. It should not be an afterthought. But you look at this Suzuki, and I know there's a couple of zip ties here on the handlebar, but I mean, it's tucked away. They're cut. The Yamaha ones that were out were not only there, but they were uncut as well. And by uncut, I mean they were sitting there all pointed. Whoo, rain. This bike turns very well. Very well. Yeah, I like this bike though. I mean, compared to those Yamahas I rode where everything seemed like an afterthought, or you know, we're just gonna act like we're Harley, but we're gonna or try to emulate them, but we're not gonna make it kind of thing. That's how Yamaha felt. But Suzuki, I mean, these are wonderful. Now, don't get me wrong, a Yamaha sport bike, I didn't get a chance to ride them at the event, but I've ridden them in the past. I've rode an R3, I've rode an R1. I know the R3's new, but I got a chance to ride one day. It was a friend of mine. I didn't have anything with me to record it, but that was a great bike. So was the R1, so was the R6, and then the FZ series. I mean, any of their Street Fighters, naked bikes, or anything like that, they're beautifully built for Yamaha. But their cruisers are an afterthought. That's what I'll just say to that. So, but with this Suzuki, I mean, this bike, I think it's got a slipper clutch, because I just did kind of a bad downshift there and it worked just fine. Oh, I love that power. I mean, it's so smooth. This bike, I can't say enough about how smooth it is. I mean, I know that smooth is a general term, but I mean, everything it does, braking, smooth, power, smooth, handling, smooth. I mean, and we're on a fairly decently long ride right now, and I love this bike. I mean, the comfort of this bike, I could go a lot longer. When I had the 300 Ninja, I was already feeling a little bit on it, to be honest. I never really liked the seat on the 300. I was wanting to upgrade it, but then I decided to get a new bike. Oh, we're going to play, okay. Pothole there. But anyway, welcome to Oklahoma, folks. That's all you get is potholes. But other than that, I mean, like I said, I can't stress enough how smooth this bike is. I mean, the engine braking, yes, it's not there, but it's so smooth when you downshift. Like I said, I did a rough downshift, and I assume it's got a slipper clutch because it didn't grab the wheel like I thought it would have, because the way it felt there for a second, so I thought I grabbed it a little too hard. Wait for the rest of the riders to catch up here. And like I said, oh goody, we're gonna get to go on the highway. Let me tell you how this thing gets onto the highway. Well, very fantastic if I could get up to speed, but gotta follow what they're doing, so. I mean, this thing pulls really well from most any gear. I mean, I know that it's still like a Gixxer. It still takes up to about, $6-7 grand for the power to really kick in, but 240, really rough. But once that power kicks in, oh man, it hits. I love it. So, my impression of this bike, definitely a RabidHedgehog approved bike. I love the way this thing rides. I love the way it feels on the highway right now. I mean, it's great. Despite having no wind protection, like I said, this one leans forward, but the wind, because of the no fairing and windshield or anything like that, keeps you held up and your wrists are not weighted down or anything like that. So that's really good. And but the seat is comfortable, the position is comfortable. Like I said, I'm 6 foot tall, 32-inch inseam, and I can flat foot this bike easily. And I really like that. So get up to speed and try to catch up with these guys here real quick. There we go. The only thing about group riding is everybody kind of goes where they want to on speed, and it causes you to back up and go forward, back up, go forward. But at least I got to test the pull, and I didn't even take it out of 6th. I just wanted to see if it pulled for a minute, and it pulled fine. So like I said, folks, definitely recommended bike. This is the RabidHedgehog, and once again, this is the 2015 Suzuki GSX S750. Definitely an approved bike. I'll try to get some specs down in the comments. The next bike I'm going to test today is going to be the little TU250X, because I love older style looking bikes and the way they feel, even if they are a little slow. I like to play with them, because sometimes I believe it's better to take a slow bike fast than taking a fast bike slow. Anyway, we'll catch you on that ride.